What's up, guys? Last Coffee House. I am doing the quiz, Hidden Tribes of America quiz. It is a year-long project, more in common, launched in October of 2018. So it's like the most recent thing that you can do in this area. And the quiz tells you what you're, out of the 6 areas that we talked about in the last one, it tells you which one you are. So we'll see. Take the quiz. Quiz takes 8 minutes. Find out which tribe best describes you. Answer questions on your views about the world, and our algorithm will tell you which hidden tribe fits you best. Okay. Like I said, it takes 8 minutes. And number 1, here's a list of activities that some people get a chance to participate in and others don't. Which of the following have you taken part of? Donated my money to my place of worship? Nope. Shared political content on social media? Yep. Attended a political meeting? Sure have. Donated blood? Nope. Attended a protest, rally, or... Did I do that recently? I don't think I did. Voted in a local election? Nope. Called Congress? Nope. Donated money to an advocacy group or political organization? I have not. I mean, kind of, but no. All right. Going on. Which statement do you agree with more? Government should take more responsibility to ensure that everyone is provided for, or people should take more responsibility to provide for themselves? How incredibly vague is that? Just in general. On what topic? When? Where? How much does it cost? Where? Who's in charge? What's the structure of government? Oh my gosh. Is there really a point to this question? So just in general, out in the ether, vague, incredible question. Should government take more responsibility? People take more responsibility for themselves? I'm choosing that one. Which statement do you agree with more? People are largely responsible for their own outcomes in life, or people's outcome in life are determined largely by forces outside of their control? Again, there are monstrous questions related to free will, which doesn't exist, and how the vernacular that we use to describe what we actually do and how cause and effect works and all sorts of other stuff. So this is an incredibly vague, stupid question. People are largely responsible for their own outcomes in life, or people's outcomes in life are determined largely by forces outside their control. There's no such thing as free will, so that's obviously the case. But this means, like, okay, in the vernacular of agency, do you agree more with agency versus non-agency determinism? Holy mother, alright. People are largely responsible for their own outcomes in life. I'm choosing that. How much control do you feel most people have on their way their life turns out? Again, within the context of how the only possible way to philosophically talk about control, then they have a lot of control over it, because we have this substrate that we call a person's personality on which we can work, and this is so complicated, and yet they're just reducing it down to a binary, a ridiculous binary with no context whatsoever. People who work hard can find success no matter what situation they were born into. What if they were aborted? Can they still do that? Some people's situations are so challenging that no amount of work will allow them to find success. Oh my gosh. Alright, people can work hard. Yeah, that's the one. Which of the following played a greater role in getting you where you are today? Hard work and effort, or luck and circumstance? Obviously, a whole hell of both of them. A lot of both of them. Oh my gosh, I haven't gone down and tallied up which ones are more substantial, and nor did we specify what actually agency means in this context. What a pointless nonsense. Hard work and effort. For the following pair of traits, which one do you think is more important for a child to have? Ooh, a child to have. Respect for elders instead of independence. Obedience instead of self-reliance. I don't trust children. Being well-behaved instead of creative. Good manners versus curiosity over good manners. I don't care if they have good manners. Alright, sounds good. How much do you agree or disagree with the following statement? It's a scale, 7 to 1. I don't know why it goes backwards. It's strongly agree to strongly disagree. Okay, these days the rights of immigrants are more protected than the rights of American citizens. I don't know if that's the rights of immigrants are protected more than... Again, so vague. Holy hell. Neutral. These days it seems the rights of black and brown people are more protected than the rights of white people. I mean, technically, there are some legal one-ups that are built into the legal system that give them more, I mean, just in certain states. Some states have outlawed things like affirmative action. There are quotas in a lot of places. I know you can't use quotas in college admissions, though, so I don't know what the status of quotas in employment are, but those are, rather than being legal requirements, they're mostly just, oh, do this because it's good business. So I'm just going to barely agree with that, just because of the affirmative action thing, because that's a legal right, an extra legal right that somebody can have. Of course, they talked about men versus women. I'd have more to say on that. These days, it seems the rights of Black Lives Matter protesters and activists are more protected than the rights of police. What on earth does that mean? What rights? In what context? What does that mean? Who even are specifically the Black Lives Matter protesters? It doesn't even have a central hierarchy organization that says that these are the members and these are not the members. So what on earth does that mean? Holy mother. I just don't even have an interest in that question. Which do you agree with more? People like me have a say in politics. Politicians don't care about people like me. People like me, specifically. So what characteristics am I using to define which ones are people like me versus not like me? Do they have to be just like me? Same gender, skin color, sexual orientation, station in life, same annual salary, etc., etc.? Does it have to be all of those same things? Or what? Where's the cross-section here? People like me have a say in politics, sure. Which you agree with more? The American government is mostly rigged to serve the rich and influential. The American government mostly reflects the will of the American people. Well, the American people get to vote, so if they voted more, if they were more engaged than all those rich and influential people, they wouldn't have to worry so much. But it mostly reflects the will of the American people. It's every 2 years for one section, every 4 years for the others, and it's the entire government, like all of it, even the unelected bits. What are you talking about? Oh my god, I hate all these questions. What you agree with more? American identity is disappearing nowadays. American identity is being strengthened through diversity. Disappearing nowadays. So I'm gonna answer that, even though it doesn't. Again, it's so vague. What is the identity? What does it mean to be disappearing? What does it mean to be strengthened by diversity? If it's diversity of opinions that go against that identity, then does that still strengthen it, or does that just change it? I don't know what that means. Would you say that things in this country are headed in the wrong direction, the right direction? Just in general, just absolutely all 1.5 million categories of potential ways that the country could be headed. Is it wrong or right? Answer it now. Holy hell, I'm not a big Trump fan, but I like that there's a backlash to all this nonsense that's being spouted on the other direction. I like that there's a lot more kind of standard meritocracy kind of talk right now, so I'm going to pick that. All right. And now thinking about the next 5 years, do you expect things to be better, about the same, or worse for American society? The next 5 years. Just in general, it's so vague. Next 5 years. Who knows who's going to be elected in the next 2 or whatever. So what are you talking about? What do I think, and how the hell am I supposed to know? About the same. Sure, sounds good. Please read the following sentences and indicate your agreement or disagreement. Compassion for those who are suffering is the most important virtue in a person. No, I don't think so. Maybe honesty should be the most important virtue in a person. I definitely moderately disagree with that. When the government makes laws, the number one principle should be ensuring that everyone is treated fairly. Strongly agree with that. When it's making laws, it's still pretty damn vague, but when it's making laws, number one principle should be ensuring that everyone is treated fairly. 100%. Yes, strongly agree with that. I'm proud of my country's history. I moderately agree with that. There are some not so great things, but the founders did an awesome job. We've got a constitution that's wonderful. Our structure of government is working pretty well, although I'm kind of worried about this democracy thing now. But free speech is the greatest thing in the history of the world, so it gets to moderately just because of speech. Respect for authority is something all children need to learn. All children need to learn. I mean, yes, they need to know respect for authority. They need to have that, but it's not like authoritarian. Obviously, if they have idiot parents, then again, it's so freaking vague. All right, I'm going to slightly agree with that. People should not do things that are disgusting, even if no one is harmed. What did I just read? I just read The Righteous Mind, where he's talking about that, like people having sex with chickens, as long as nobody finds out or something like that. So people doing things that are disgusting, they don't define the things that are disgusting even if no one is harmed. I mean, is that more kind of a religious bent? It's like I have an ideology that prevents that, even though there's no discernible utilitarian concern about it or anything. I don't know. So I'm going to slightly disagree. Okay. Because you should have the most freedom that you can have. If nobody's harmed, then the government shouldn't have an interest in what you're doing. One of the worst things a person could do is hurt a defenseless animal. It's pretty bad. That is pretty bad. I don't know if animals are really defenseless. They have claws and teeth and things. I mean, hurting an animal like a human, you could call them defenseless, but they still could fight back. But I mean, it's pretty bad. I'm just going to slightly agree, though. Justice is the most important requirement for a society. Justice. Again, that's so vague. Justice as in treating people fairly based on objective laws or something? I'm not sure what they're trying to get at, but I strongly agree. People should be loyal to their family members even when they have done something wrong. I mean, you want to be loyal to family. I mean, it's your family. I'm just going to, even though I'm kind of inclined to say slightly disagree, I'm going to slightly agree. All right. Men and women each have different roles to play in society. Different roles to play in society. What on earth does that really mean? Again, it's so vague. They don't have different roles. They have different characteristics generally, and people with different characteristics will have different roles falls naturally in society, and this is just statistical anomalies over giant populations. This isn't like individuals. So, no, I don't think they have different roles. I'm gonna disagree with that. I would call some acts wrong on the grounds that they are unnatural. I would call some acts wrong, some vague morality standard, on the grounds that they are unnatural, which, what the hell does that mean, unnatural? Obviously, everything that a person could possibly do could be argued to be natural, because we are part of nature. We didn't excise ourselves from nature, so I don't know what the hell this is trying to mean. Disagree. Generally speaking, would you say that most people can be trusted, or that you can't be too careful in dealing with people? Most people can be trusted. I mean, most people are just generically trying to do what's best for them, and you can be aware of that, so it's fine. Do you agree or disagree with the following statement? To fix America, we need a strong leader who is willing to break the rules. No, absolutely not. We don't need a leader who's willing to break the rules, assuming that rules equals laws. The leader does not need to be breaking laws. I'm just using that in place of rules. Again, the terminology, who the hell knows what this means? So strongly disagree with that. The leader has to stick within the rules. If you want to change the rules, you can work on that, but you do it by the rules. The world is becoming a more and more dangerous place. Again, under what rubric, what categories? A more and more dangerous place. It's not becoming more and more dangerous. It's getting better and better. Crime is going down. People are better taken care of nowadays than they ever have been in the history of the world. Through innovation and effort of very, very smart people, we are situated in a great way. We're figuring things out better. It's definitely not becoming a more and more dangerous place. I mean, there are weapons that can be more effective now. That the same kinds of crazy people who had weapons historically, if they had these weapons, they'd be able to do a lot more damage. But otherwise, I think it's getting better. It's certainly getting better. So I'm going to strongly disagree because of Steven Pinker. He's the one who did it, who convinced me that it's not getting that much worse. In the last 12 months, how often have you or your family gone without enough food to eat? Never. We had plenty of food. Felt unsafe from crime in your home. Almost never. I know something came up recently. Gone without medicine or medical treatment that you needed. See, again, these are so vague. I haven't needed any medical treatment in the last 12 months. So I'm going to say never. Continue. What proportion of your friends have a similar level of education as you? Well, I have no friends, so joke's on you. I guess just go with some acquaintances. Similar level of education. I mean, most of the people I spend time with are at least, masters, if not higher than that. So I'll say about half. Sure. What proportion of your friends are the same race as you? I've got a kind of an odd mixture. So acquaintance-wise, I mean, no. Arguably, I mean, nobody's the same race as me, actually. What portion of your friends are the same race as you? Less than half? What portion of your friends have similar political views as you? Less than half, for sure. Some people seem to follow what's going on in government and public affairs most of the time, whether there's an election going on or not. Others aren't that interested. Would you say you follow what's going on in government and public affairs? Hardly at all, only now and then, some of the time, most of the time, don't know. Most of the time, more than that, actually. Every single day, it's tops on my mind. How well did the following words describe your feelings toward America today? Hopeful, somewhat well. Angry, not very well. Frustrated, not very well. Disillusioned, not very well. Excited. Excited? That's a little much. Excited. Somewhat well, I guess. Scared? Not at all well. Confident? Somewhat well. Okay. That's my feelings. This is so vague. Alright, click here to see the profile description of your tribe. Traditional conservative. Okay. Well, there you go. There you go. That's where I sit, apparently. Traditional conservatives value patriotism and Americans' Christian foundation. Christian foundations. I am 100% atheist, thoroughbred atheist. So that's funny. They feel that those foundations are under threat from a liberal culture that emphasizes diversity and devalues America's achievements. They believe in values such as personal responsibility and self-reliance, and they think that too much emphasis is given to issues of gay rights, sexual harassment, and racism. They have a clear sense of identity as American, Christian, and conservative, but they are not as strident in their beliefs as devoted conservatives. Okay, so this is one in from that. For example, they are open to dialogue or compromise on a pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants brought here as children. They acknowledge that racist acts persist in the United States. Such a vague statement. They are suspicious of the traditional media, yet they are more likely than any other group to feel their voice is represented in American politics. Okay. Their main concerns: foreign tensions, jobs, and terrorism. Alright. I'm not too concerned about terrorism. to be honest. Although it is one of those that can cascade very quickly. You know, if a person, say one of your moronic domestic terrorists, they're not thinking on a biblical scale, they're thinking on their very tiny scale, in the United States at least, that they just want to get their name in the papers. For terrorists on the other side, it can be very biblical, where they want to do as much damage as humanly possible, and if they could possibly get their hands on something that was apocalyptic, then they absolutely would. So, I mean, there's that scaling of it, but foreign tensions are a concern. Jobs are definitely a concern, but it's not like a concern now. There are plenty of jobs right now, but we want to make sure that there are plenty of jobs and that people have the opportunities to be able to find a job if they are so inclined, and that nobody is excluded from being able to find a job and work hard and become successful because of anything that they can't change. Of course, there are certain caveats to that related to all sorts of stuff. You know, people, the military did that. Did I talk about this before? The military did that test where anybody who had an IQ under 85, they just could not find a job for them, no matter what. Under a lot of Social Security rules, I think the threshold for Social Security is like 75 IQ or 70. Under the listings, that if somebody can demonstrate that kind of an IQ, then they can automatically be considered unable to work and receive disability benefits. But so there might be kind of a gap in there, you know, between like 70 or 75 and 85, where people don't have that protection on the back end and they seriously can't do a job, period. So that might be a lacuna in our system that we have to worry about. Whatever the case, that's what I am apparently, traditional conservative. I don't watch Fox News. All my information comes from other sources, mostly. No, I guess, yeah, it's liberal and conservative print sources, and a lot of online sources rather than, I can't remember that. Although I like Tucker Carlson. He's a decent guy. But other than that, I can't remember the last time I watched a Fox News. But whatever the case, so that's where I am. That's the test. You should go take it just to see. Like I said, these questions are ridiculous, but they tried. They're doing more than I am. So that's that. This is the Last Coffee House. You can talk to me, follow me on Twitter at John Shade Reads, or on mine's at John Shade Reads. I am going to be publishing some stuff coming up relatively soon, and I would love anybody who has anything to say about it to talk to me about it, and much appreciated. It's been fun. We'll see. I've got some more Sam Harris reading list stuff coming up. I've read a couple more classic works of literature that I'm going to be talking about, and then there's some other fun stuff we're going to be doing, and it's movie season. I'm talking about Game of Thrones at some point because I just have to. It's welling up inside me. I have to talk about it. And Avengers going to be coming out. I feel like a giddy little kid. It's so ridiculous. Like, superhero movies are just ridiculous in general, but there's something about it. It's just so much fun to watch and talk about and think about and all that. So not since The Dark Knight have I been so interested in a superhero movie, and it was because of Infinity War and because of Josh Brolin and because of Thanos. It was so awesome. Anyway, so we'll talk about that sort of nonsense, and hope to see you on the next one. All right, bye.